Are you a bigger cyclist who struggles on hills? This video will change how you climb forever. I'll show you why hills are harder when you weigh more and give you simple tricks to climb better right away. These tips work whether you're trying to keep up with friends or just want to enjoy hills more instead of dreading them. As a cycling coach who works with riders of all sizes, I've seen these methods help countless cyclists conquer hills they once feared. These aren't just theories, they're real-world tips that work even if you're carrying extra weight. I've tested these approaches myself and with my riders, and they make a huge difference without requiring you to lose weight first. Let me tell you about Tom, a strong rider I met on a group ride. Tom could push huge power on flat roads, often pulling the group at 25 miles per hour or 40 kilometers per hour. But when we hit the hills, he'd drop to the back every time. I don't get it, he told me. I can push 300 watts all day on the flats, but these skinny guys who can barely hold 200 watts fly past me on climbs. The answer is simple physics, and understanding it will free you from a lot of frustration. On flat ground, the main force you're fighting is air resistance. This is mostly the same for all riders going the same speed, regardless of weight. That's why Tom could use his raw power to excel on flat roads. But on hills, everything changes. The main force becomes gravity, which pulls harder the more you weigh. This creates a direct relationship between weight and the power needed to climb. Let me put this in real numbers. If we have two cyclists, the cyclist number 1 is 150 pounds or 68 kilos, and the cyclist number 2 is 200 pounds or 90 kilos. Both want to climb the same hill at the same speed. The rider number 1 might need 250 watts. The rider number 2 would need about 330 watts. That's a huge difference, and it's why lighter riders seem to float up hills while heavier riders have to work much harder. But here's the good news. Once you understand this, you can stop feeling bad about being dropped on climbs. It's not that you're weak or unfit, you're just fighting stronger gravity. And the even better news? There are specific techniques that help bigger riders climb better without losing a single pound. Let's talk about those next. By the way, if you want to make climbing easier by losing some weight, check out our last video where we gave a method to lose weight without spending hours doing cardio. The link is in the description. But for now, let's focus on climbing better at your current weight. The second key to better climbing is your mental approach. This might sound like fluff, but it's actually one of the most powerful tools you have. Many heavier riders defeat themselves before they even reach a hill. They see the road tilt up and immediately think, here we go again, I'm going to suffer and get dropped. This negative mindset actually makes you climb worse. It tenses your body, messes with your breathing, and makes the climb feel harder than it really is. Instead, try this mental approach that works for riders of all sizes. First, accept that you might climb slower than lighter riders, and that's perfectly okay. Climbing at your own pace is much better than blowing up trying to follow someone else's pace. Second, break long climbs into smaller chunks. Don't think about the entire mountain. Just focus on getting to the next curve or landmark. This makes big climbs feel much more manageable. Third, use positive self-talk. Instead of thinking, this is killing me, try, I'm strong, I can handle this. It sounds simple, but it makes a real difference in how your body responds. Fourth, focus on your breathing. Deep rhythmic breathing helps you stay calm and delivers more oxygen to your muscles. Try counting your breaths to match your pedal strokes. I had a client named Mike who dreaded hills so much he would avoid routes with any climbing. After working on his mental approach, he not only stopped avoiding hills, he actually started seeking them out as a challenge he could conquer. Remember, your mind gives up long before your body does. With the right mental approach, you can push through the tough spots and reach the top of any climb. The third key to better climbing is finding the right position on the bike. This is especially important for heavier riders because the wrong position can waste precious energy. Many cyclists try to copy the climbing style of pro riders they see on TV, but those tiny climbers who dance on the pedals are using techniques that often don't work well for bigger riders. Here's what works better if you're carrying extra weight. First, stay seated more often. While standing can give you a power boost, it also uses more energy, raises your heart rate faster, puts more strain on your knees, makes it harder to maintain a steady pace. Save standing for short, steep sections where you need a burst of power. For most of the climb, you'll be more efficient seated. Second, slide back slightly on your saddle for longer climbs. This engages your stronger glute muscles more and takes pressure off your quads, which tend to burn out faster. Third, keep your upper body relaxed. Many riders grip the bars too tightly and hunch their shoulders when climbing gets tough. This wastes energy and restricts your breathing. Keep your shoulders down, elbows slightly bent, and hands light on the bars. Fourth, change positions regularly to use different muscle groups. Even small changes help. Move your hands from the tops to the hoods and backs. Slide forward or back on the saddle slightly. Stand for 15 to 30 seconds when you need a change. I worked with a rider named Dave who weighed 230 pounds or 104 kilos. By focusing on staying seated with a relaxed upper body, he was able to climb 20% longer before needing a rest. These position changes didn't make him instantly fast, but they made climbing much more comfortable and efficient. Remember, the best climbing position is the one that works for your body. Experiment to find what feels most efficient for you. The fourth key to better climbing is using the right right gears in cadence. This is where many heavier riders make mistakes that make climbing much harder than it needs to be. Let's start with gearing. The simple truth is that bigger riders often need easier gears than lighter riders. There's no shame in this. It's just physics. If you struggle on climbs, consider these gearing tips. First, don't be afraid to use your easiest gear. Many riders avoid their lowest gear out of some strange pride. But using the right gear for the gradient is smart cycling, not weakness. Second, if you find yourself always in your easiest gear and still struggling, consider changing your gearing. Modern bikes can use very wide-range cassettes. Moving from an 1128 to an 1134 cassette can make a world of difference on steep climbs. Third, shift before you need to. When you see the road getting steeper ahead, shift to an easier gear while you still have momentum. Waiting until you're already struggling makes it harder to shift smoothly. Now let's talk about cadence, how fast you spin the pedals. Many heavier riders push too hard in too big a gear, which quickly burns out their leg muscles. For most bigger riders, a slightly higher cadence works better on climbs. Aim for 70 to 85 RPM on climbs. This puts less strain on your muscles and more on your cardiovascular system. It reduces the peak forces through your knees and hips. I worked with a rider named John who always climbed at about 60 RPM, standing and pushing hard. By switching to a higher cadence of 80 RPM and staying seated more, he found he could climb for twice as long before getting tired. A simple drill to find your best climbing cadence. On your next few climbs, try sections at different cadences, 65, 75, and 85 RPM. Notice which one lets you climb with the least overall effort. That's your sweet spot. The final key to becoming a better climber at any weight is following a training plan that works for bigger riders. Many training plans are designed for lighter riders and don't address the specific needs of those carrying extra pounds. Here's a simple training approach that works well for heavier cyclists. First, build your base endurance. Bigger riders need a strong aerobic engine to power them up climbs. Spend time doing longer, steady rides at a conversational pace. This builds mitochondria, your cell's power plant, which help you produce energy more efficiently. Second, add short, steep climbs before tackling longer ones. Find a hill that takes 2 to 3 minutes to climb. Do it 4 to 6 times with full recovery between efforts. This builds climbing-specific strength without the prolonged suffering of long climbs. Third, include some high-intensity intervals on flat ground. These improve your power output and VO2 max without the extra stress that hills put on your joints. Try 6 to 8 intervals of 1 minute hard, 2 minutes easy. Fourth, practice climbing at different cadences. Spend one session climbing at a lower cadence, 60 to 70 RPM, to build strength, and another at a higher cadence, 80 to 90 RPM, to improve efficiency. Fifth, be consistent, but patient. Improvement takes time, especially for bigger riders. Celebrate small wins like climbing without stopping, feeling less winded at the top, or using a harder gear than last time. We've created a complete 1-week training plan specifically for heavier climbers that puts all these principles together. It includes exactly what to do each day, how to progress, and how to adapt it to your schedule. We're giving this plan away completely free to members of our For Cyclers school community. Just click the link in the description to join us and get immediate access to this plan and many other resources designed for busy cyclists. Remember, the goal isn't to become the fastest climber in your group. It's to make climbing more enjoyable and less of a struggle. With these techniques and some consistent training, you'll be surprised at how much better you can get, even without losing weight. If you found these climbing tips helpful, you'll love our last video on the busy cyclist method to lose weight without spending hours. While the techniques we covered today will help you climb better at your current weight, that video will show you how to drop pounds or kilos efficiently if that's part of your cycling goals. Click the video that's appearing on your screen now, or find the link in the description. It covers the exact nutrition and training approach that's helped my busy clients lose weight while actually riding less. Before you go, hit the like button and subscribe so you don't miss any of our practical cycling advice.